Welcome back to Coffee with Mia. I'm Mia Pompey. You know what I've been thinking about? How many things we complain about over and over again, but yet we continue to sign ourselves up for them. People, situations, arguments, obligations, drama, relationships that leave us exhausted, conversations that are going nowhere. But yet, here we are again, back for another round. And before anyone gets defensive, I'm including myself in this conversation. Because sometimes the hardest thing to admit is that no one is making you keep going back to all of this. Now, obviously, there are things in life that we have to deal with. We have responsibilities, jobs, families, bills, people we just can't erase from the planet just because they annoy us. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about the things that we actually have control over, but for some reason, we keep telling ourselves we don't have control over it. And do you know what that is? That's how much access you give a person to yourself. Whether we answer the text immediately, or we get dragged into the same argument for the 47th time when someone else's bad mood becomes our bad day. When we keep on explaining ourselves to someone that just decided a long time ago, you know what, they don't want to understand us. At some point, we have to ask ourselves, why am I still volunteering for all of this? And that is what I want to talk about today. Not happiness. Because to be honest, I think we put too much pressure on ourselves to be happy all the time anyway. Life isn't like that. Some days are absolutely fantastic. Some days are just ordinary. And then there's the days that are just horrible. But that's life. I'm much more interested in something else. Are the choices you're making in life, are they making your life much better, or are they making your life worse? Because we talk all the time about choosing ourselves. It sounds wonderful. Put it on a coffee mug. Put it on Instagram. Choose yourself. Okay. But what does that actually look like on a Tuesday afternoon when someone is pushing every single button you have? Sometimes choosing yourself, it looks like not responding. Sometimes it looks like saying no without submitting a 3-page explanation. Sometimes it means realizing that you can't keep going to the same person and suddenly expect them to be the person you need. And that one's hard because we keep doing it constantly. We want understanding from a person that has never been understanding. We want reassurance from someone who minimizes everything. We want accountability from someone who never takes responsibility. We want emotional support from someone who changes the conversation back to themselves within 30 seconds. And then we're shocked when we walk away disappointed yet again. You know, maybe the question isn't, why won't they give me what I need? Maybe the question is, why do I keep on going there looking for it? Think about it. You wouldn't walk into a hardware store and just get furious because they won't make you a cappuccino. They don't have cappuccino. Wrong store. And sometimes we have people in our lives who simply don't carry what we're shopping for. That doesn't necessarily make them horrible people, but It does mean we may want to stop placing the same emotional order and act surprised when it never arrives. And here's another one. Stop taking everything personally. I know. Believe me, I know. Easier said than done. Someone doesn't call. Someone is not acting like themselves. Someone is short tempered with you. Someone didn't invite you. And immediately, our brain starts writing a Netflix limited edition series. What did I do? Why are they mad? Was it something I said? Maybe, but maybe they're just having a terrible day. Maybe they're distracted. Maybe they're dealing with something that you don't know about. And guess what? Even if all these things happen, you'll survive. We have somehow convinced ourselves that being misunderstood is an emergency. And I think choosing yourself is maybe knowing that someone, somewhere, just doesn't have an opinion about you that you can fix. Let them. You don't have to chase someone down carrying Exhibit A through F that will convince them that you're a good person. People are going to think what they want, and you have a life to live. And another thing, I don't know about you, but sometimes I do this. You really don't have to solve your life in one day. I am very guilty of this. Something happens Monday morning, and suddenly I'm planning the next 6 months. What if this happens? What if that happens? What am I going to do? How is this going to work out? Meanwhile, it's like 9:15 in the morning and I haven't even finished my coffee yet. Maybe the answer is handle Monday. Tuesday can wait. You don't need a 12-month solution to a 24-hour problem. Take one step. Make one phone call. Send one email. Go for a walk. Start the project. Do the thing that's in front of you instead of mentally wrestling with 17 things in your head that haven't even happened yet. Progress doesn't always look impressive. Sometimes progress is simply, I have to handle today differently than I handled yesterday. That's it. And then there are the people and situations that constantly drain you. Now, I'm not going to tell you that everyone who annoys you is toxic and you have to get them out of your life. Please. I mean, seriously. If we all did that, half of us would be sitting in our kitchens alone. People are not perfect. Relationships get messy. People irritate each other. That's all normal. But there's a difference between someone occasionally getting on your nerves and someone who just leaves you emotionally beat up. You're allowed to create space for yourself. And creating space doesn't always mean some dramatic confrontation. You don't need some dramatic soap opera music playing when you say, I'm removing you from my life. Sometimes you just become less available. Sometimes you stop participating. You don't engage every time the bait gets thrown into the water. You protect your time. You protect your peace. You stop handing someone the remote control to your emotional state. And the biggest choice, stop demanding you're okay before you're actually okay. Sometimes something hurts. Sometimes you're disappointed. Sometimes you're grieving what happened or what you thought was going to happen. Sometimes you're angry, sometimes you're tired. And you know what? You don't have to immediately turn into a motivational quote. You can just say, what's happening right now is completely horrible. And then make dinner, take a shower, go to bed, wake up tomorrow, keep moving. There is enormous strength with accepting where you are, but knowing that you're not going to stay there forever. So maybe choosing yourself is not all about choosing happiness. Maybe it's something much less glamorous. Maybe it's deciding, I'm not having that argument again. I'm not begging for someone's attention. I'm not explaining myself for the 100th time. I'm not borrowing trouble from tomorrow. I'm not letting one person's behavior dictate my day. And I'm not going to beat myself up because today wasn't one of my better days. Maybe choosing yourself means you're being a little bit more selective about what gets your energy. Because your energy isn't unlimited. Neither is your time. And neither is your life. So before you automatically say yes, before you answer the text, before you jump into the argument, before you start worrying about next month, before you go back to someone who was never able to give it to you, ask yourself, do I actually have to do this? Or am I volunteering? Because sometimes the biggest change in your life starts when you finally stop signing up for things that just keep draining you. Think about that. As always, I thank you for spending your time with me, and I'll see you in the next episode.